That's what I said.
It's a maker's feel hotter.
Yeah, ambience.
Okay. Welcome everybody to Open Mic Night number 31. Kind of a funny number, isn't it? Really? Doesn't mean much, but anyway. We have got 16 readers tonight, so I'm going to have to talk. We're going to have to do the time. Have you got the bells ready, Liz?
Yeah.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
People have 4 minutes. I really hate to limit it, but otherwise we will be here till midnight. And as much as I love you guys, I love my bed more. So, who will we start with? Just for anyone who is new, my name is Blaise. Kev is on the camera up there. He is going to be recording, videoing, recording, whatever. I always get told off, it's not called video anymore. He's going to be recording all the readings. If you don't want to be in the recording, please let him know because it does go up on YouTube. So, 4 minutes, okay, Les? Yeah? I can't see you, so you have to talk.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Maybe just tell people I don't have to go straight up at 4 minutes.
Yeah, so if the bell goes, you can finish your sentence or what have you. But if you keep reading, the bell's going to go dong, ding, 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 or Les is going to come up and, you know, he might knock you out or something.
San Oscar.
The Oscar's at home, he's probably chewing his way out of the house.
Got 37 minutes.
So, I am going to start with Susie. Do you want me to give you more time? No? Susie is on a stick today, but she's going to be jumping around next month.
Yes.
Susie is going to read some, various poems.
Yeah, only two. First one is a bit sensible, the second one isn't. Alright. I think I've lost the second one. Here it is. It's called More Precious Than Rubies. Where do old memories go when they're forgot? Do they lurk at the furthest corners of my mind, buried like old clothes beneath the new inside my closet? Wasn't there a warm red laugh that went with boating jaunts on Albert Lake? And a verdant cloak that wrapped me round all summer long in Somerset? I cannot find the invisible coat of mail that kept me safe through my divorce, nor the frilly tutu of my wild ambition that hung and hung and hung and never once was worn. Shall I find them, fresh and perky, ready to go out? Or ashamed with rotten wrinkles underneath the neglectful dust of time? Or have they wandered through the labyrinth of doleful days and shores and one by one been eaten by the Minotaur? And that'll put you in a good mood, fast and funny. Quick, it's called quick. My poems are short. My poems are short. I come straight to the point. Once there, I don't labour it. You won't have time to fidget or creep out for a wee. This poem is not an aeroplane. It will not go over your head. It, like God Save the Queen, rams home the point. So that at the end you will say, that was a short poem. And we will have communicated. I, the sender, you, the recipient. The postage, minimal. This is not a parcel bulky with hyperbole and simile. My words are pared, sped, cut to the bone. This line's been cut out altogether because this poem is short. This poem is short, and I refuse to waffle. Usually.
Thanks, Susie. I don't think you've done poetry before, have you? No. Cool. Paula Wilson is going to read a story called Revenge. Simon
dragged his aching limbs close to the window. If he was quick enough, he might be able to catch a glimpse of her. She had moved in next door 2 weeks previous, and he would make an effort to see her as she left in the evenings so as to keep the fire burning. He clenched his hands and thumped them into his legs. Bastard, he had been thinking of ways to get his revenge ever since the accident, and now the time had come. Revenge. The word had consumed him since that woman had ploughed her car into him. He was riding along the bike lane with the rain trickling through the slits of his helmet and on down his face. It had fallen constantly all day. As he pedalled, he sang a song about the rain coming again. Occasionally he would drift away from the song and entertain thoughts of a long hot shower to rid the aching cold from his bones. He counted down the kilometres, 2 more to go. A dark shadow loomed to his right. The impact was immense. He remembered hurtling through the air, through the slashing rain into a solid object. He remembered dropping to the cold, wet ground, his cheek pressed into the concrete. He was surprised there was no pain. That was until he woke up in hospital. The pain came then, crippling pain that left him unable to work, ride a bike, or do much of anything. Later he was told the driver was a 25-year-old named Chance, in a hurry to get home and ready for a hot date. A night of clubbing was on the agenda. They said she hardly slowed as she turned into her drive. And what did she get? Loss of licence, a slap on the wrist. Then she moved in next door and his plans of revenge became serious. He dropped his body into the chair and waited. A car pulled up in the street and tooted. A flash of carefree colour came bouncing down along the driveway. She hopped into the car and was gone. She would not be back until the early hours of the morning. It was the same every Saturday night.
Yeah, someone can clean this up. Thanks, Paula. Next we will have this few new names here tonight. Carolyn. Who's Carolyn's name? Oh, there you go. I wasn't sure if Blaise had put your name down or not because he put someone else's name down. And so Carolyn's going to read some poems.
I don't have a printer at the moment at home, so I had to take photos off my computer, so apologies for the weird way of reading. The first one is called Oscar, the Big Black Cat of 1792. Essentially, I am what you call a psychic medium. A lot of energies come through my sleeps and talk to me, as crazy as that may sound. So I've actually started writing poems based on this. Southern accent. Face round, he came through to me. I pick up my phone and begin to record. The fingers warped, the image wonky and mystically unstable. He begins to speak through me, though I am unaware. I see myself as I speak. I assume I am a performer. The accent is so real, so sound. The message comes through, the voice is heard. Man of Southern time speaks loud and clear. Man of Southern time. I once had a big black cat named Oscar. I loved that cat. Sorry, I can't do it. He sounded pretty cool. In the midst of his connection, I hear Maddie within the shower. Just moments earlier, a short lady of pregnant asks me for the screenplay by Monday. Monday? Yes. Will a first draft do? Yes. I hear Maddie in the shower. I hope he does not disturb, for I enjoy my voice. My voice? Whose voice? Who is this? Man of Southern time reveals himself. I am speaking through you. I want my voice heard. Stuck within legs of travel, astral smoke holds me back. I run out the bedroom and I run bound out the door. I run through the hallway, though it is different in size. I burst into the bathroom and beg that Bear can hear. He stands high above in corner, a double-edged reflect I see. He moans great sadness and cries beneath. Help me, I'm stuck and I can't wake up. I need to wake up, I need to wake up. I rattle at the shower door begging for astral release, pulled back and forth. I call out to my God, I cry out in great distress. In the name of Jesus Christ, please wake me up. In the name of Jesus Christ, please God wake me up. In the name of Jesus Christ, please God wake me up. And just like that, I awake back inside my bed, utterly exhausted, unable to barely move. Now awake in my body of physical reality, yet limbs heavy as lead. A surge of realization hits me. I burst out in distressed response. I am confirmed. He is confirmed. They are confirmed. Oscar the Big Black Cat of 1792. I have one more, but I don't know how much time is left.
Go for it.
Okay, I'll try and get this through. This is based on my miscarriage. Inside the operating room, I was wheeled by a man of rough edges, heart full of white love. There waves goodbye at the doors of the elevator, brave face. My love's brave face waves goodbye. Minutes before I transform. Love you, baby. See you soon. Bear waits on the other side. Rough, loved man wheels me alongside Di. I am welcomed by the team of transformation. Ned, the anaesthetist. Lady Doctor, I entrust. Xanthi. Many questions, tags, checks, signed consent to Dr. Helen. I am welcomed by and soothed by the hand of soft angel, though I cannot recall her name. She told me her name. I referred to her as my Mr. Sandman, the assistant putting me to sleep, sending me to astral's light. I am wheeled inside the operating room, the room of transformation, the room of astral transcendence, the room for where I am shielded and visited by 1,000 white doves. I'm not going to bother. There's too much to go. I'll just waste it. Maybe come back next month and read it. Yes, I'll try. Thank you. Lynn Barty is going to read some poems. I don't get the titles there, so I'll let you.
I have two poems. One is from my book, Stances of Life and Death, and it was interesting when I put the second poem is actually from what I'm going to call the Port Albert chapter, because there's a few people here who know where Port Albert is. And last year we heard a poem called Murder of Crows, if I'm correct, which really was about murder. I have something similar but different, because it's not about murder, it's about desire. It's called The Blackness of Ravens. I wear the raven's blackness. The feathered touch of darkness caresses as I hold the turmoil of these waters. But all I do is watch her within my craft, eyes ensnared. And I am ravished by her darkness, ravished. The witchman cast, eyes lower, shrouding the glamour. Then she whispers, "You're nothing, nothing. I see into, through, mere shadows surrounding you. Pretense is all you know. There is nothing of the raven's blackness. Obsidian waters, unhearing, uncaring, swirl below. Framed in deep, intense darkness, the raven of her burnished beauty enslaves. Enamoured, enthralled, the bold redness of her lips seduces. Desire, desire held in darkness, the darkness of her. The blackness of this raven obsesses me, defines me, consumes me."
Thanks, Lee. from Stony Ground. Come on down.
Very quickly before I start, quick update with page 17, the annual collection of short stories and poetry that I edit. We now have a paperback edition available through Amazon, so if anybody's interested, just search for it through Amazon, page 17, issue 12. It's now available. And because I'm on a time limit, first part of the story I've been working on lately called The Seed from Stony Ground. Gavin answered the door, expecting a hawker, and instead finding himself shaking hands with Father Oliver. The priest floated in, dressed casually in jeans and a woolen jumper, but stood straight-backed and heavy, the mark of a man feeling constantly on display and maybe not yet accustomed to it. He was on the fresher side of middle-aged, but furrowed his brow in a way normally reserved for anxious old men. "Tea or coffee?" asked Gavin, feeling one eyebrow drift up. There was always some impulse to make that offer a joke, an embarrassing piece of formality to get through right away. "Neither. I think I'll be fine with water," Father Oliver responded. Gavin shrugged as he filled a glass from the tap. It seemed all his old contacts in the priesthood had been taking the Pope's austere means as a new fashion. "I suppose you're wondering why I'm even here," Oliver said with a sniff as he took a seat in Gavin's usual chair, settling into misshapen cushioning, about to lose its stuffing in 4 different places. Gavin didn't reply. He had a habit of waiting for others to answer their own propositions. His normal chair occupied, he chose an old love seat he hadn't taken a seat in for years. It felt too firm on his back. Now he felt like the one on display. It had been a while. "Thought you could come back, be part of a community again." "I live here, don't I? Isn't that enough?" "Even as someone who's transitioned from the church, it would be good to transitioned. I'm an ex-priest, former employee. I can curse now. Jesus, shit, damn. I'm not coming back to volunteer for a boss young enough to marry my daughter." He paused. "There was a movie like that. Was Dennis Quaid in it?" "Right, to say all that's happened or try to pretend you give a shit. Get out or I throw you out." Father Oliver stood and walked to the door, his facade as stony as ever. "You could at least come to the next service. Attend as a member of the community. You're acting like some sort of exile." "Forgive me for stepping on your toes," said Gavin coolly. "I wouldn't want to cause undue stress. After all, heavy is the head that wears the crown." Father Oliver scowled and left without another word, straight-backed as before, like a military man actually, left to right, out the door and back to barracks. Maybe Gavin had unknowingly declared war in his obstinacy. He allowed himself a smile before suffering yet another coughing fit.
Thanks, Belle. Bone? Because I was about to say Belle. No, what did we call you before? Were we eating pizza? Bone Bimba. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's in November now.
We were eating pizza before everybody came, and we were talking about having a Busybird, what was it?
Calendar.
And Bo was going to be Bo Bimba. Had to be there, sorry. Belle. I was going to say Belle next, that's why it's called Bo Belle. Belle Savage, come on down. Belle is going to read a poem called From the Child's Eyes. Thank you.
I too am going to have to read this through technology because my printer ink is currently not working. It could be my fault because I was sucking around with it, but yeah. So bear with me, please. Mother and father yelling, oblivious to child, seeing, angry words snapping before he starts hitting, and mother is bawling. Child's foot is slipping, and the stairways creeping. Parents are now looking, father glaring, mother crying, child gasp or running. Tiny feet are padding, no more carpet creeping, just
father's feet chasing towards the child's breathing as they are hiding. Child's door is closing, small hands harshly locking as father is seeking. He is not thinking. Child is the one misbehaving. Father is now binding. His lips are curling. Fists are soon slamming. Mother's voice distinctly pleading, but she is clearly losing. Child's body is backing. Fingers on wall shaking. Huge pressure is building. Feeling the door breaking. There's no more escaping.
Rose, is that how you say your last name? Rose is going to read a novel extract down the stairs. Welcome.
Hello. This is my first time. This is an extract from a novel that I'm writing called The Hand That Feeds You. And just for context, this part of the story is set in 2003. I contemplate my phone as I pry back the cover. Should I take the front off too? Would that be more real? I ultimately decide against it, pressing the purple plastic back into place. There's no reason to take the front off if I'm just checking the battery. I glance over my shoulder as I take the SIM out. The school is eerily silent. Just about everyone has gone home for the day. Normally it doesn't bother me. It's always like this when I finish violin classes. But today it's not just that I'm alone, it's that I'm going to get very seriously hurt. I hold the tiny SIM between my fingers and crouch down, carefully scraping it along the concrete. I take care to damage the metal panel and then stand back up, examining my handiwork. Overall, I'm pleased. The SIM is effectively ruined. I take a deep breath, preparing myself. I slip my school bag back on my back and pick up my violin case by the handles. I look at it regretfully, hoping it doesn't get too badly damaged. I can already feel how much I'm going to need it in the ensuing quiet. I arrange my hands as if I am handling the battery of my phone, pulling the SIM out and blowing into the cracks of the plastic. I don't think anyone will question my story, but I want to make it look authentic anyway. My heart is beating really hard and I'm trying not to tense up. If I'm rigid, it will be that much worse. I keep my eyes on the phone and lean forward, turning my shoulder slightly to protect my face. I throw myself down the stairs. I was lucky, the paramedic said. I didn't seem to be concussed, and I didn't have any permanent damage to my body. All the injuries were fairly minor, although tell that to the pain in my badly sprained ankle. Bruised ribs, skinned arms, I even lost a fingernail. But nothing broke and there were no head injuries. I didn't have the good fortune of passing out at the bottom of the stairs. I lay there for a long time, waiting for someone to find me. I was in a lot of pain, just lying there on the concrete, but I was still pleased nonetheless. I could see with satisfaction that my phone had smashed, completely beyond repair. Mrs. Darren found me there and called the ambulance. I was scared in the back, worried that my parents would be mad at me for being so careless. The phone was broken. They would have to buy me a new one. That wasn't too bad, but I didn't have a chance to inspect my violin. They would be furious if they had to replace that. But when Mum came into the hospital room, there was no utterance at all about money or expenses. There was total panic on her white face. When she saw me, she sagged and started to laugh with relief, pressing her hand to her chest. She slumped into the chair next to my bed and squeezed my hand. "You dope," she said. "You scared the hell out of me." Mum made me hot chocolate and helped me into my pajamas when we got home. She tucked me into bed with my foot propped up on the pillows and gave me a big hug. She gave me 2 tablets for the pain and I was asleep within minutes. Janine wakes me up a few hours later with a bowl of popcorn. Mum frowns when she sees it, but she doesn't say anything. Miracle in and of itself. But the best part of the day is when Dad comes home and presents me with a new phone. A sleek 3310 with a sparkly Union Jack cover. It has no camera installed. It's just a run-of-the-mill phone with a new SIM and a new phone number. When everyone leaves my room so I can rest, I curl up under the covers and text Sarah, just a quick one to let her know I'm okay and to give her my new number. After her response, I set the phone on my bedside table and lie in the dark looking at it. It is mercifully silent. Are you laughing at the bottle of the phone?
Are you going to come back and read more of it next time?
Oh, would you like to know more?
Sure. Thank you. Marcello is going to read some poems. Of course you can. Do you need a stool? There you go.
No.
Got to suffer for your art?
Yes.
Don't make us.
As you might not know, but in May, I will have my yearly solo exhibition of my drawing and some other items.
Yeah.
So last night I was working to finish this drawing, work with the model that a couple of months ago, and I just put it away last night. No one was coming here. Finished that, and then I've got the second on a series of drawing coming out. What is actually the drawing telling me? Because it's got a, there's got to be a message somewhere that I don't seem to capture. So I look at it, and then eventually it's there, and there are common threads that lead you to the. So this, what she told me last night, it's almost having a psychic experience. Believe me, it's scary sometimes. Drawing conversation. That's from my next collection. Actually, I do like this drawing. My whole body is dissolving. I'm losing consciousness. I get lost in a sensuous dream. No real awareness. Just sensation, containment, abandonment, absolute rapture and lust. I feel desired and special, beautiful and female, so complete. Inside and outside my body I have this magma, this diffusing feeling on my solar plexus. The two energies merging together. My whole body is in flame. That's melting even my skin. But I've been enjoying admiring thousands of white birds there. And as it was getting darker, they just would stand out against the dark trees. You could see those beautiful birds in flight. So I think I enjoyed it anyway. I've got some ideas. It's like my red bird. It's called the flight. In a flight of swallows, my most beautiful poem. I love losing myself in your eyes. I love losing myself in your smile. In the simplicity of things that happen. Pick me if you want, and I shall be the first rose of the morning that blooms only for you. One last little one. If I could live a real one, I want it full of colors. I wonder why. Intense like a golden dream of fields and wheat, and singing crickets in between red poppies and summer cicadas, to contemplate the blue sky in the light breeze of a torrid sun.
Thanks, Marcello. Stayed within time.
What?
You stayed within time.
Yes.
Well done.
Surprise.
Coral. I didn't realise Coral was here. Hi, Coral. Coral's going to read a travel story, Harworth to Bakewell. Is that right? Harworth.
In 2011 I went to England and I had to drive from house in Yorkshire to Bakewell in Derbyshire. So, which I thought was going to be easy. I've never given Yorkshire much of a thought. Michael Parkinson comes from there. They talk funny, their towns are industrialised, and it's the home of Wuthering Heights. It's as much as I've given it until now. I didn't expect the greenness or the peace of the farming countryside surrounding the pretty villages, and I didn't expect the friendliness. The people are comfortable with themselves, it seems to me, rather like Australians. Sharing a beer with mates or obsessing over a football team or the test cricket is important as earning a living. This may be a stereotype. Let's face it, I haven't actually met that many people in my week here. But the ones I've met have gone out of their way to answer my questions, give advice, and help me out whenever I needed it. I'll take a soft spot for them home with me. I've decided to head for Huddersfield to avoid as much as possible anything that looks anything like a city. This won't be easy, as I've discovered I'm surrounded by cities and large towns. Bradford, Leeds, Halifax, Sheffield, and my starting point, Manchester. The A646 takes me through the outskirts of Halifax to Huddersfield, at which stage it completely disappears without warning. I'm now on the A629 to Sheffield. Not to worry, Sheffield will get me to where I'm going, I'm sure. A sign directs me to the far right-hand lane of a very large roundabout. I allow the traffic on my right to pass through, as I would in Australia, and follow my lane around, and around, and around again. I'm stuck in the centre of a huge roundabout. How do I get off? And where do I go if I do? My sign for the A629 has completely disappeared, replaced by other numbers. I'll have to make a decision, otherwise I'll become a permanent fixture. The lady of the roundabout. I shoot across to the nearest exit, causing great consternation to several lanes of traffic heading in and out, and various screeching of brakes. The road I enter has 3 lanes which, without warning, merge to become 1 lane, and I'm stuck half on the roadway, half off. A thoughtful driver waves me in front of him, probably realising I'm not local. I'll have to think about that roundabout when I've got a chance. All I know is the road number that led me into it was not the one that led me out. What's the use of a road sign if it doesn't help you to get where you're going? It happens again and again. Each time I reach a roundabout, I have to make an instant decision as to which road number mine will become on the other side. The drivers around me have obviously realised I'm a tourist and are working to cut down on the chaos I'm causing as much as possible. English drivers seem very courteous. I've only been tooted once at the first roundabout, and that was to let me know what I was supposed to be doing. I'm going to have to sit down tonight to try and understand this system. Meanwhile, I'm lost. I pull into a shopping centre car park on the edge of Sheffield to get my equilibrium back. My back roads Great Britain map is just for that, back roads, not much good in a city. Still, I can't sit here all day, have to take the bull by the horns, get on with it. There'll be a way out of here somehow. The city luckily is smaller than I at first thought, and I'm suddenly on the other side, on a road I hope will take me closer to Bakewell. How have I ended up on the M1 with signs pointing to Sheffield? Have I just gone round in a circle? Maybe I'm not actually here. Maybe I'm still at home, in my bed in Melbourne, having a nightmare about driving around Britain. No, I'm definitely on a freeway leading to Sheffield, North Sheffield and South Sheffield. For want of a better idea, I keep going until a sign straight out of the blue sends me onto the A6 through forest, straight out of a Robin Hood movie, to Bakewell.
I'm looking forward to the collection of all your travel stories. Gay Miller. Okay, you're going to do some poetry.
Yes. Hello, everybody. My first poem is going to be about the gates you come across in life. As you forge life's pathways, you'll happen upon various gates. Some promise much, others are so gloomy you cannot see the way. Access to some is difficult and the effort required is great. Others stop you in your tracks. You stand, stare and appreciate, but then decide on a different path, the gate left firmly latched. On a black night a gate may seduce with promised shelter, or a sunny view may dazzle and cause you to falter. Gates are exciting, they are the board game of life. They open new vistas and landscapes of opportunities. But choose wisely, poor roads and hazards may be rife. Sometimes while resting at a gate, deciding what to do, I wonder, am I contemplating the same gate as you? Did you open it to wonders and prospects of growth? Or did you turn away and continue on your path? If perchance I'm travelling by a gate that you are going through, I'll happily detour from my path and come along too. Because nothing is so lovely as journeying with friends like you. And this one is on getting older. I'm getting older, but I have to say I'm looking okay, in an old sort of way. Not for me brown twin sets and tea, brightly coloured clothing's the go for me, says she in black. I've wrinkles and crinkles everywhere, but if I don't look too closely, I don't know they're there. And happily I can always dye my hair. My outside is old, but inside I'm young. Inside I'm a daughter as well as a mum. Though my limbs are stiff, inside I can run. Inside I need to love and be loved. Inside and outside I have lots of fun, just as I did when I turned 21. Thank you.
No singing tonight.
I think we're running out of time.
We could have a song, can't we?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Sorry.
That's right.
Oh, I'm so mad about you. You're the reason for my happy face. You keep me warm winter through. I'm so mad about you. Oh, the world is a wonderful place when you're in love. Everything's shiny and new. Every day's heaven when you are in love and someone's in love with you. Oh, I'm so mad about you. You're the reason for my happy face. You keep me warm winter through. I'm so mad about, awfully glad about, I'm so mad about you. Thank you.
Thanks, Gay. Andrea Muller. Andrea, I don't think you've read before, have you? So welcome tonight. Andrea's going to read a story called The Yellow Green Grocer. Come on.
We all live in the yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. The words bounced off the shops that lined the empty street. Orlando moved through the silent shopping precinct with a bounce in his step. Yellow submarine. God bless the crisp mornings and a bit of silence to fill, he thought as he made his way down the street singing at the top of his lungs. Number 22, the Yellow Green Grocer, purveyor of fine fresh foods. Without a doubt the happiest place in the world as dictated by its happy facade of sunny yellow. Orlando stooped to unlock the roller door, pushing it up with a grunt. The rumbling door revealed a happy little shop with food that was equally as happy due to the fact that it was loved by Orlando and also by the lucky people who were going to eat it. Not all food had the good fortune to come from the farm and then be lovingly displayed, a spritz of water, a light polish, and genuinely be gushed about to anyone who has an ear to listen. Orlando loved his food and his food loved him back. The yellow-green grocer had been established 40 years ago by Orlando after he had moved from Victoria's food bowl. The city was unforgiving to freshly picked asparagus, the juiciest oranges and apples so crisp you could hear them metres away. Orlando had been brought up on the land. His days were filled with soil, tractors, blossoms, trees, the sun and the rain. In the dying hours of the day when they came in from the farm, these custodians of the land took a little back and ate like kings. It was these days that taught Orlando to respect the power of food, and that if given the chance it will respect you back. At 7 a.m. the fruit was lovingly stacked and presented so that even royalty would stop and marvel at such produce. That is, if they knew the value of the pink blush of the seedless watermelon, or the aforementioned blush on a pink lady, or the translucent red of a red globe. Pyramids of round fruit, oranges, apples and pomegranates, to name a few, line the sides of the little shop. They were perfectly stacked to produce a feeling of wealth and abundance. This is what we want of our fresh food. It was all there looking its best, ready for a day of trading, the type of which that has been practiced since man first planted seed. 7:30 a.m. a man strode into the shop. He was dapper in a tailored suit and looked the part of a metropolitan, hair gently coiffed, manicured hands, and a shave that left a baby's bottom to prickly shame. The suited man strode through the U-course way, his head darting.
If anyone listens to our phone
Answer machine.
actually sound more like I'm 9 or 10. But I'm going to read this and you have to guess who the poet is. Dolls and teddy bears. When I was just a little girl, my dolls were my delight. I played with them every day and dream of them at night. My days were filled with happiness. I never had a care, for my whole life revolved around my dolls and teddy bears. Do I sound 12? Yeah. As I grew up and went to school, I learned to read and write. I played new games and made new friends. And then at home each night, my mummy would kiss me tenderly and I would say my prayers and fall asleep and dream my dreams of dolls and teddy bears. My dolls and teddy bears have always been my life to me, but now I see there's other things to keep me company. I think I must be growing up. Life's caught me unawares. Last night I dreamed of boys instead of dolls and teddy bears. One day I'll have a little girl who'll be my heart's delight. I'll watch her as she grows like me and tuck her in each night. I'll give her all the best in life, she won't have any cares, and I will sit and watch her play with my dolls and teddy bears. My dolls and teddy bears have always been my life to me, but now there's so much more to do, so many things to see. I think I must be growing up, I'll find someone who cares. Last night I dreamt of boys instead of dolls and teddy bears. Last night I dreamed of boys instead of dolls and teddy bears. Thank you. Would anyone like to guess who the poet is?
Oh, it's got to be you. No, really? Gay.
No. Apparently, this was written with the instructions that it was for a B-side for a record. I was trying to think of the name. No.
Liz.
But the poet liked to own up.
Gina, isn't it?
Do you want to come up and tell the story about why it was written?
I didn't really actually ever have any dolls or teddy bears. This was quite a long time ago. The head of the record company, I was just having a drink with him one day, and he said, we've got the rights to a new song from America. The song's called Sunflower, and it's the next big thing, and it's going to be sung by a 12-year-old girl. We haven't got a B-side. And he explained to me that the royalties for a 45 recording the author of the A side got exactly the same amount as the author of the B side. And if this was going to be the next big thing, well, obviously to be the author of the B side was going to be fairly lucrative. And anyway, he's told me all this, and he said, would you like to have a go at writing a song to be sung by a 12-year-old girl? And I said, you have got to be out of your mind. He said, there is no way in the world I can write something like that. And it was on his desk the next morning at home.
Next week we'll go sing it for us. A and B.
In between readers, do we need a taxi? Up on the table there. And one that is actually filling up really fast is one that Les is going to be running called Noveling. It's actually a 12-part workshop, or a series of workshops, 12 of them. And there's information about those up there as well. I'm telling you about that now because if anyone is interested, there's an early bird price. So you can find the details up there. We have our life writing weekend coming up in May, which Gay came to a similar one last year or the year before. I've lost track of the years.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place up at Karma King Lake, and that's going to be a great weekend as well. Our door prize tonight will be one of our regular workshops of your choice. So, Joan. Joan is going to read some poetry.
I had a bit of a problem knowing what to read tonight because I wasn't sure if I'd read this one before and I had to bore you. But I haven't read this one. It's called Country Rodeo. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, if it's rodeo or rodeo. Hands up if it's rodeo.
Oh.
You poor thing.
All the sort of tracks, obviously.
Come to the country rodeo. Sorry, I said the wrong thing. There's fun, food and features for all. Clowns, cowboys, cowgirls and horses. They ride and they rope and they fall. Great bulls with their quivering nostrils steaming and snorting with rage. Confined to the chute with its number, trapped like a bird in a cage. Then the man on the back of the trailer with microphone held in his hand feeds the crowd's thirst for excitement and orders, "Shoot 4," which is manned by 2 cowboys with ropes to be opened. Out hurtles the bull with its rider wearing Stetson and bright printed shirt. It spins and it bucks, keeping time with the jangling cowbell bells tied under its girth. The cowboys and cowgirls competing need to sit tight until the sign's given. They've all pinned their hopes on the cash prize, and by shouting and cheering they're driven. The clowns, with their bright painted faces and banana lines, fluttering butterflies in a paradise all their own. The calm, heaven peace, broken by bored dogs. The listless sway of the baby palms. The many shaded faces of smiling Darwinians. The replicated stores of a dozen other cities. The impregnable boast and the ice facade of Parliament House casting imperious eyes across the Beagle Gulf. Have I got time for the one who's at the bell?
Well timed.
Maybe I can do it once before. Thank you.
My husband tells me I have made a kind of a flaw in that book. So if there is a guy in the audience who picks it, come and tell me.
If you're game. Thanks, William. There's just passed me a note to say that is Caroline gone?
Yeah.
Caroline?
Yeah.
She said she was a psychic medium, and so she said she does do free readings for anyone who is lost, needing help or direction with life, and they can email her, and I have the email address here if you want it. Only for people who are open and looking for guidance. So, Jeannie, we might go for your kid's story, Golfing Ghosts.
It's only an excerpt. It was twilight. The sun had just dipped below the horizon and the moon hadn't come up. A still greyness hung in the air. Simon walked carefully around the tombstone. He wondered if Lisa and Jack would be here tonight. He heard a rustling behind him before a voice called out, "Stick 'em up!" Simon smiled as he turned around. The figure in front of him had on a long coat and boots. A bucket sat on its shoulders with a slit for the eyes. "Hello, Nettie." "Oh, it's you!" Nettie's voice came from somewhere inside the bucket. "Nice to see you again, Simon." "4!" came a faint call from the distance. A few seconds later, something pinged off a tombstone a metre away. "What was that?" Simon asked in surprise, looking around cautiously. "Just Butch," Nettie answered. "Do you want to play outlaws with me? You can be the police." "I don't like police." "4!" came a second call. "I was looking for Lisa and Jack," said Simon. "Do you know if they're here?" "I don't know," Nettie shrugged. Something clanged into the back of his bucket, nearly knocked it off his shoulders. "Hey!" Nettie yelled, turning away from Simon and putting his hand on his hips. "That one hit me!" "I called 4, the voice in the distance yelled. "You all right, Nettie?" Simon asked. "You've got a big dent in your bucket." "What?" Nettie took the bucket off his head to have a look. There was a big dent at the back. "Right, that does it." He marched off through the cemetery. Simon didn't want to be left on his own. He caught up with Nettie and walked beside him. 4! Simon heard something slash through the air. Suddenly Nettie's gloved hand shot out in front of Simon's face, making him jump. "What was that?" Simon gasped. Nettie opened his hand. A golf ball sat in his glove. Before Simon had time to think about what had just happened, the voice called out again, 4! Simon ducked instinctively, and another ball struck a tombstone a couple of metres away. An angel figurine cracked, wobbled and fell to the ground. When Simon looked up, he saw a figure about 20 metres away standing on a grave, swinging something that looked like a stick. Nettie went right up to him. Simon followed. The figure was wearing golfing clothes. He was just about to take another swing when Nettie growled, "What do you think you're doing, Butch?" Butch looked up. He had no face. A golf cap sat on his head. Stringy hair fell down to his eye sockets. Skin was attached to the hair, sagging down either side of the skull. One ear had sagged down past his nose while the other flapped about his chin. Simon saw that the stick was actually a golf club. The grave rose in a slight hump in the middle and a golf ball sat on a tee in the centre. "I was teeing off until you disturbed me," Butch answered. "You're supposed to be quiet when golfers are taking their shot." "You hit my bucket," Nettie growled. "There's a big dent in it." "Your bucket stopped bullets. I don't think a golf ball hurt it," Butch answered. "And you broke Mrs. Tucker's angel." Butch shrugged. "A bit of glue will fix that." "And you almost hit Simon." Nettie opened his hand, showing the golf ball. "So? Simon's a living person." "Oh." Butch suddenly turned his full attention to Simon. "Oh." Simon shivered as Butch examined him with his empty eye sockets. Butch leaned closer to Simon. "What's a living person doing in our cemetery?" Simon didn't know what to say. "Simon comes here for Lisa and Jack," Nettie answered. "He's our friend." "No," Butch shook his head. The flaps of skin hanging down the sides of his face swung back and forth. One saggy ear kept hitting his nose. "Living people are not our friends. They take over our golf courses and we can't play." Simon's throat was dry and he swallowed hard. Butch's empty gaze went right through him. "Can't you play after midnight?" he managed to ask. "Why should I?" Butch snapped. "Just because I'm dead doesn't mean I have to stop having fun." He pulled away from Simon and straightened up. He adjusted his grip on the golf club and lined up for another shot. 4! Simon and Nettie both ducked as Butch swung at the ball. It sailed through the night air and disappeared in the distance. Several seconds later they heard a dull thud as the ball hit a tree and the leaves shook. Nettie straightened up. He looked at the ball in his hand. "I've got a good mind not to give this one back to you." Simon straightened up. He saw the ball in Nettie's hand. "Hey, that's new," he said in surprise. He hadn't thought about the golf balls, apart from not getting hit by them. But it seemed strange that Butch would have a new golf ball. So, Butch reached into his pocket for another ball. There was nothing there. He searched his other pockets, then looked all around the ground near him. There were no other balls. He looked up at Nettie. "Can I have my ball, please?" "Only if you promise to stop hitting it around the cemetery." "No." "Then you can't have it." Nettie closed his hand and slipped it into his coat pocket. Butch stared at him for a moment. "Fine," he grumbled. "I'll just have to go and get some more." He turned and stomped off through the cemetery. With each step he became transparent. After a few steps, Simon could see through him. After a few more, he was gone.
Thanks, Jenny. Robin! Robin has been coming to open mic night for 2 years and he's never read anything. So, this is a surprise.
It's going to shock them all.
In a good or bad way. We'll find out.
I'd like to read 3 poems. I have timed them. It's about 45 minutes at least. I like to observe people on my travels. These are a couple of observations I made in San Francisco. This is called The Watched. 10 p.m, dark sky, quiet. High above the Sunday night city, she moved with superb grace, silently crisscrossing the cathedral's forecourt, skates catching occasional flickers of light from the street lamps. Young, lithe, athletic, lost in her thoughts, a delight to watch, seemingly unwatched. This one's called She. A note, a plea for help. She, squatting at the curb, young, rough, but beautiful. She, addicted. She, desperate. Pleading, needing help. None came. On the lighter side of things, this one's called Life of Brian. Wretched, wet, cold afternoon. Trees dripping constantly as I blinked in dazed fashion into that dark, muddy grave at my feet. Of course, it's too late now to offer up apologies in a futile attempt to undo my foolish act of mistakenly serving Brian the cat food. He told me many times not to infuse the assortment of cans under the sink. Now he's gone, but I still have Pookie.
You've been holding out on us. You've been holding out on us.
Sorry.
Thanks, Robin. Oh, we're up to our last reader, Rebecca. Is going to read a short story called Lest We Forget.
So this is the one I started last time. Quick recap. A woman is walking with a very old man. They're sitting down and he's been telling her about his experiences in the war. And he's about to show her some photos. Delicately, the old man removes a worn envelope, greyed and dog-eared. First he hands me a black and white of a young woman. I carried this photo right throughout the war, he says. I hold the battered print closer to my eyes. I know her face so well. But her soft-skinned beauty never ceases to amaze me. So impossibly young. So pure in her starched nurse's uniform. So unmarked by what later years asked of her. So much the picture of a young man's sweetheart. I hand the photo back. Next, he shows me their wedding photo and says, "Look how short I am." And I say, "Look how handsome, but it is hard to make an old man blush." We were married 2 days and they sent me off to the war. His hand runs across Percy's ears. That's the dog, sorry. Lifting them and stroking underneath. And then they told her I was dead. But she waited for me. 4 years she waited. Next he passes me a photo of himself in uniform. one arm thrown casually across the shoulders of a great beast of a dog. I trained dogs in the war. I trained them to bite. The old man's free hand demonstrates with a savage snap of the air, while the other hand continues stroking Percy's ears. I trained them as guard dogs, and they'd kill a man as soon as look at him. They shot them, and the war ended. Can't untrain a killer. There are no photos of his children in this battered envelope. I ask after them. Yes, I have a son and a daughter. He looks at me and I fill my face with a light. Something fleets across his face and is gone. He goes back to sifting photos. I used to hope he was looking for one of his children. He isn't. He hands me another photo, an older woman sitting behind a desk. She still wears her uniform, but her smile is less fresh-faced. She was very highly trained in her profession, he says. But it was common sense, really. That set her apart. She had common sense and you can't teach that. Finally, he hands me a photo of the two of them as a middle-aged couple. They're dressed for an occasion, which he can no longer remember. Look at us, he would say. And he would hold the photo before passing it to me, as if wondering why he carries it with the others. She died. He busies himself with his photos, but cannot hide the crack and whisper of his voice. 27 years ago, she died. His shaking hand replaces the envelope, careful as always not to bend the photos. He zips up his jacket and pats his chest, just the once. It's time to go. Percy rises from his haunches, his stubby tail commencing a slow flap. The old man looks at me vaguely. Tell me your name again.
Thanks, Rebecca. So that comes to the end of our readings. I just wanted to remind people that we actually have a little free library out there, which is like a library swap. So if you finish reading a book and you don't want it anymore, you can put one in there and take one out. So it's open 24 hours a day. You can just, when you come up here, the light comes on, so you can even come up here on the weekend or in the dark if you want to. There's even a little chair there if you want to have a read. So we'll now do the door prize. Have I forgotten anything else to mention? Anyone else have anything they'd like to mention? Any activities coming up they want to spruik? So this is a prize. This is for your choice of one of the workshops on here. Not noveling because it's a 12-week thing, but you could have some off that one if you were really keen to do that. Ta-da, everyone got their tickets? Blue F78. If you want to do one of our workshops. Thanks all for coming tonight, and we hope to see you again at Open Mic Night number 32. Our YouTube video should be up later this week, if not early next week, so you can have a look for it. And we will put it up on Facebook, the link to it on Facebook as well, just so you know about it. Just hang around, have a drink, and have a chat with each other, and we hope to see you again next month.
So you said Union Jack. In the story, she has